What's up guys, we're here today on this gorgeous summer day and I am super excited because we're on our way to Silso Prestige Motors to pick up an amazing BMW M2 Competition. Kicking things off, let's talk about the looks. It's safe to say these are both very pretty cars. The M2 has the traditional BMW M stance with this extra aggressive front, big extended arches, making it mean on the road. While the CLA45s has the AMG vertical slatted grille with their aggressive shark nose front design. Both have lovely sloped roofs with the coupe style from the side profile. Then at the back the BMW is a bit more boxy while the Mercedes has more curves. Both feature a quad exhaust setup which sounds like this in the M2 and like this in the CLA45s. The M2 Competition does have the edge here with its straight six, but how do they compare on the road? Let's find out. Okay, so we are driving the M2 Competition. How does it stack up against the CLA45s? Well, immediately sitting in here, I can feel the size difference. This is a compact car. And the reason why people love the M2 so much is just because it has that perfect size where you can really just chuck it around those country lanes and roundabouts. And yeah, love the size. The M2 technically is not much smaller than the CLA45s, but when it comes to size, just a small amount can make a huge difference. The M2 is also rear-wheel drive, while the CLA45s has a four-wheel drive setup. That's not to say that the CLA45s feels like a big car though. It's still very compact and it feels nice and nimble and tight around country roads, especially if you pop it in Sport Plus or race mode. The CLA45s has 5 drive modes, while the M2 Competition just has 3. In the CLA45s you get Slippy for wet and snow, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus and Race mode. You can also build your own custom drive modes too. Currently in Efficiency mode, which I think is BMW's version of Comfort mode. Oh, we've got a motorbike here. Threw me off a bit there, but we can go into Sport mode and Sport Plus. So first thing we'll do is go into Sport mode. We can definitely hear that S55 engine coming alive. Whew. Gearbox is super snappy as well, took us right down to second and third there. Oh God. The throttle is much more sensitive. The biggest difference though is the CLA45s has an adaptive damping system, meaning the suspension can be made softer or harder to suit the driving condition, while the M2 has only one fixed suspension, so the CLA45s is undoubtedly a much more comfortable car.
The M2 feels much harder. You feel every bump in the road, which is fun for spirited driving, but you're stuck with this. You can't adjust it and make it softer for those times where you just want a relaxing drive.
So let's talk about the engine. So this is the S55 engine. Now it's the same engine from the M3 and the M4.
But let's talk specifics. The M2 is an M-powered straight six which produces 410 horsepower, while the CLA45s has 4 cylinders, but it makes 421 horsepower.
Oh, this engine, it's got some serious grunt. To be honest, speed-wise, it feels pretty much the same 0 to 60 feeling jump back in your seat as the CLA45s. Of course, though, we've got all the power going to the rear here. Right, here we go. It's just so quick, and there's so much drama.
The interior on the CLA45s is a lovely place to be. It's got this big long screen with lots of tech and gadgets, just what you would expect from a modern Mercedes. The M2 features a more simplistic interior. There's far less tech and it's not as exciting. However, it is very functional and driver focused, which I think suits this car really well. Both have great seats too. The CLA gets the AMG performance seats, and the M2 Competition comes with the same sports seats as the M3 and M4 from this generation. The CLA45s interior wins here, but I do really like the simplicity of the M2, and they did modernise it in the Competition by adding this half-digital dash. Well, if I were to sum this all up, I'd say they are both incredible cars, but they're also very different. I think ultimately the choice is going to come down to the type of driver you are. In terms of acceleration, they feel about the same. They both feel very fast and you get that lovely sense of power when you put your foot down. But after that, everything else is very different. When you're driving the M2 fast, you're always a bit cautious because it's far less stable than the CLA. With all the power going to the rear wheels, there's a lot more play at the back of the car. If you floor the M2 off a bend before you straighten the car up, it's likely to go sideways. But for many M owners, this is one of the most fun aspects of an M car. The rush and feel you get when you start to feel the back loosening up and you have to correct it is what many consider the true M experience. Where with the CLA45s, the traction is incredible. Due to its 4-wheel drive system, you can literally floor it leaving any turn and you're going to feel almost zero slip. It gives you the confidence to drive really fast and just throw the car around bends with its very sharp steering. I've found with the CLA45s, because the traction is so good, if you want to get that rush of adrenaline, you really have to drive it fast, while the M2 you can have just as much fun at lower speeds, since the rear-wheel drive system is so much more playful. The CLA45s does, however, have a drift mode, but it's not quite the same. You're never going to replicate the true experience of driving a rear-wheel drive car. So with these in mind, it's actually a really easy choice to choose which you should buy. If you're someone who loves to drive fast and make confident launches at traffic lights or out of bends, the CLA45s is the perfect car for you. It's really easy to drive it fast and enjoy it. It will throw you to the back of your seat and it will go exactly where you point the wheel. It's incredibly capable and so fun to drive fast. But if you're the type that prefers something a bit more unpredictable, it's going to make you work much harder to drive fast, then the M2 is your car. Due to its rear-wheel drive, it's much more playful, which means you can have more fun at low speeds and of course high speeds if you dare. Having that little slip at the back makes the driving experience far more engaging, which I know driving enthusiasts will love. So ultimately really, it comes down to the type of driving experience you're looking for. I personally love both of these cars and would be happy owning either. But what do you guys think? Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.